Hello, Green Spring. I am here in the studio with Justin Reeves, our Director of Finance. Do I have that right, Justin?
Correct.
All right. So Justin is here with some things to talk about, some updates.
Okay, so just not sure if a number of people, the viewers, attended the Coffee with Ben session on Monday, August 15th, but I provided a good update regarding our financials. And just to recap very quickly, we're again in a wonderful financial situation here at Green Spring. We're lucky enough to have an average of 98.5% occupancy year to date in our independent living, and that's kudos to the sales team and the work they're doing. Last year at this time, we were right around 97.9%, so they really made up some ground there with some diligence and hard work.
Sure.
In continuing care, we're boasting a 98.6% occupancy rate on a budget of 97.9 or so. That means they're doing very well. People are taking advantage of this wonderful continuum of care we have on our campus. So how does that translate into numbers? So I'm talking about high occupancy rates and better than budget, better than last year. So we're ahead of our, let's say, revenue budget or revenue from last year by essentially $300,000.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said a budget of 97.9 for
continuing care for Garden Ridge.
And what does 97.9 mean?
That's the occupancy rate, the number of beds. So there are 282 beds.
Sure.
So the budget of 97.9, we were projecting to fill 97.9% of those beds.
Sure.
But we're actually at 98.6, so doing a lot better. So we're well ahead of our revenue target. As well as pretty in line with our expenses. So we projected wages and benefits to go up right around, let's call it 4.5%, and that's where we are year to date, as well as the other expenses, the non-wages, non-benefits, where they increased 5% year over year, and that's right around where we projected. And just realized there, just some inflation cost regarding wages, benefits, healthcare costs, utilities, real estate taxes, et cetera. So what we projected at the end of 2015 is actually coming to fruition in 2016. So with all that said, we're in a wonderful position with net operating income, revenue minus expenses, of right around $7.2 or $7.3 million year to date through June 2016. So with all that said, we have essentially $150.5 million in the bank currently. And again, how that translates the profit that we earn, the revenue minus expenses, the 7.3 million, just goes right back into the community for reinvestments, for repositioning efforts, capital expenditures, replacing front of the house, back of the house things. And it's really good to know that Green Spring is financially stable to do a lot of things other campuses around the country cannot do. So again, I know Lynn Keefe talked through a number of projects, so I won't recap that, but just want to kind of just say we are financially stable. We continue to be financially stable, and we're actually going through our budgeting process for 2017 right now as we speak. Sure. So again, like last year, we always have a budget presentation at the end of the year, November, December timeframe. That's when everything is finally approved and we're okay with releasing the budget for the next year. So that's to come, but we're in the throes of budgeting season right now where we're just going through every single number, every single line item, and make sure we're managing the residents' money accordingly.
The fiscal year corresponds to the calendar year.
Correct.
Fiscal
calendar year.
Yeah.
January through December.
Yeah. You said something about a 5% inflation. That's a planning. I think that's what you said. 5%.
So going into the next year, we have to develop some assumptions.
Yes.
Right. Just we know costs are going to increase. We use historical and actuals, and even just some higher level national projections for food costs, wages, the benefits we pay our employees, utilities, real estate taxes, and there are a handful of others in there as well. So we just have to estimate those larger expenses to really understand how much our costs are going to increase year over year.
I'm just curious. What's the CPI right now? It's very low.
It's low. It's I would say it's under 3%. Actual number, I'm not sure, but it's under 3% currently.
I mean, economists have been worrying past years about deflation, which is not. So so it's, I would guess maybe CPI might be 2%. But of course, it doesn't really measure the cost of living, does it? It leaves a lot of things out that are,
As we know, and with the Fed increasing the interest rate last year, they thought we were being a different environment currently, but between the oil prices or energy prices being at all-time lows end of last year, beginning of this year, they're stabilizing middle of this year a little bit, and economically, we're just in a great position as a country, I believe. Some people might debate me on that. However, I truly think we're in a really good position. Case in point, we're working through to refinance our bonds. So we have some 2006 bonds worth $27 million or so. And we are actually going to receive better rates than we did 2 years ago when we refinanced some other bonds. So again, just more savings for the community.
Yeah. Now, excuse me, the Fed raised the interest rate by, like, what, a quarter of a percent, something like that. I'm not making any more on my money market account, I noticed.
Yeah, but again, the mortgage rates are still at historical lows.
Sure.
Again, we're refinancing $27 million at lower than we would have 2 years ago. So the rates seem to be relatively low, just compared to some of the projections the economists or even the Fed put out end of last year.
It's a big political issue right now, right? We want to lower the debt, national debt. On the other hand, if you're going to spend, now's the time to do it. Because the interest rate is so low. Okay, Justin, what else do you have for me?
Well, just wanted to give a great recap of our 2016 financials year to date. We could talk about some projects. So the repositioning project, I know every time we come on here, and I usually get a lot of questions walking through the hallways in my office. Again, we're looking to reassess the project in terms of the bid that was obtained from vendors. We talked previously, and Lynn has talked about this as well, where we put the project out for bid, but a lot of these large contractors, your Clarks, your Hits, they don't want to necessarily renovate spaces people are living in. They just want to build something from the ground up, have it non-occupied, because it's a lot easier for them. It's less risk as well. So they priced accordingly, and we weren't comfortable with that. So we're actually decoupling the project and really going to some smaller contractors for the renovation piece, as well as going to the larger contractors for the sheer construction piece. With that said, we think we should be able to put out the bid, get some new drawings, and receive those bids probably by the October timeframe for us to analyze and go through in nauseam as we do. But just to the residents, just want to let them know that we're just trying to get it right. I mean, a big project like this is, I know we've been talking about it for years, but we just want to get it right. I'd rather get it right, spend a couple of years going back to the drawing board instead of building something that
and having to do it over.
Do it over again a couple of years down the road. But again, great project, great opportunity to invest in the community, and I'm really excited about it.
So I spoke with George Morales, I think, right? I think I have the name right, Director of Continuing Care.
Correct.
And I remember him saying that we didn't really have a date yet to start the repositioning, I guess we call it. And there's a permit process that we're going through still.
Just no dates. No one on the management team wants to put out dates to, again, get people's hopes up, because, again, if the bids come back and they're not in the realm of what we're seeking, guess what? We're going to continue to make sure we're spending residents' money accordingly. We're not just going to accept anything that comes across our table. So there's some back and forth, but I think we're all confident that at least the bid process should be finished by before year end.
So Chandra goes on a cruise, didn't you? And you get the duty.
We get to hang out. No, we as a management team, we always kind of pick each other up. We always need that time away, and again, with Chandra's transition, she has a much needed vacation time planned. So
I can't imagine. It's got to be an overwhelming job. It would seem to me. So she's got to have a good team.
Yeah, no, we definitely help each other out and hold each other up when needed. But it's fun. The residents are great. The employees are great, and I think we're all really happy with where our community is.
Everybody's paying their bills on time, all
Everybody's
that sort of
paying
thing.
their bills on time. That's what I really like too. So
Okay.
just continue to do that. And next month I'll come back on and we could talk July financials.
Yeah, good. Well, I don't know. We've got maybe a couple of minutes left here, a minute or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting a 2-minute sign here. So
Okay.
anything else you want to?
No, just know we continue to invest in the community. Besides from repositioning, there's always some fun projects going on the community. I believe a lot of people are aware of the garage project that's happening. Again, Lynn went over a lot of projects, the awning cleaning, the asphalt repairs, the concrete repairs, and just realize there are a lot of things that go on that is unbeknownst to a lot of residents. There's a lot of work that happens just behind the scenes with boilers and a lot of these control rooms, retaining wall. I didn't know we had a retaining wall until we had to fix it. So
What's wrong with
it's interesting. So it just realized that retaining wall has been there for the last, let's just call it 18 years or so.
Sure. Yeah.
But especially going over to Garden Ridge, those large ambulances, fire trucks, and sheer traffic, even the garbage trucks that come from that loading dock, it just puts pressure on certain points in the retaining wall. So all we had to do was shore it up.
Sure.
We were in no danger of it collapsing or anything, unless we went another 15 years and didn't do anything to it.
Yeah, no, it looked fine to me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's that normal maintenance, those normal routines. The building envelope project where we're insulating the roofs more, that's finally done. That's complete. That was
remediation.
We're making sure that these sprinkler pipes do not break anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need that to happen again. Things happen here or there, but those large floods should not be happening again.
No, I think that issue has been solved. It seems to be. Okay, Justin, we're down to the end here.
Okay.
And we're going to have to cut it off.
No problem.
Let's go back to the studio.